National Working Committee of the ruling All Progressives Congress has been dissolved.
Its convention is expected to hold within the next 6 months. Acting National Chairman of the party, Victor Giadom, announced this at the National Executive Council meeting of the All Progressives Congress on Thursday at the Council Chambers of the State House, Abuja. The Yobe State Governor, Mai Mala Buni, has been named Chairman, Caretaker, Extraordinary Convention Committee. He was immediately sworn in by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. Meanwhile, the party's NEC has ratified the emergence of Osage Ize Iyamu as the winner of the party's primary election in Edo State. Now, joining us to discuss this are two resource persons, Kasim Afegbua and Achike Chude. Kasim Afegbua is joining us from our Abuja studio, while Achike Chude is here in Lagos. Good to have both of you with us. Now, let's start by asking Achike Chude in Lagos. I would like to start by asking if there is still, the issue is the APC crisis. I want to know, do you think there is still a crisis after the president has waded in the matter?
Well, perhaps the crisis, as a result of the president's intervention, would have simmered down a little bit. But that is not to say that all parties to this dispute are exactly very happy. But I think that they are just being, if there's any attempt at maybe peaceful resolution of the crisis, it is that they are going to do it most reluctantly. The reality is that the party has to move forward. The party has obviously been in disarray for quite some time. So I think it took the president's intervention, his influence, to bring some semblance of order to the party. But daggers are still drawn. And again, like I said, a lot of them are having to do what they have to do as a result of the fact that the party has to move on, and they don't want to incur the anger of the president. Of course, you know that the president is a very powerful figure in the country and within the party itself. So when you have a system really that thrives on patronage to a very large extent, you find that most of these politicians and the political heavyweights do not really have any meaningful economic life outside of politics. So they don't want to incur the wrath of those who are in a position to determine their economic well-being. And it makes a lot of sense, really, at the end of the day, for them to sheath their sword and to even the members of the NWC that said they were not going to be part of the very last meeting, that the convocation of that meeting itself was illegitimate or illegal, have also decided to sheath the sword and then to move along with the dominant feeling in the party, and that is to sway towards the president of the Federal Republic.
Interesting. Now, Kasim Afegbua in Abuja, I would like you to answer this question. The dissolution of APC's National Working Committee and controversies over Victor Giadom's ascension. How would you assess this scenario? Is this a healthy development for the party and for democracy in general?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Hello? Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's internal politics and internal democracy of the APC. I'm a member of the PDP. But you should expect that any ruling party, for that matter, particularly the APC, if they don't get the politics right, they certainly will not get the governance right. So there has to be some level of balance of the dynamics of power, so that in the final analysis, the government will have time to sit back and actually deliver on electoral promises. But of course, the APC has been into so many crises in recent times, too many litigations here and there. And so I think the president just decided to weed the big stick. Whether it is right or wrong is left for the internal party machinery of the APC to decide. But of course, that is how they felt that they needed to deal with the situation.
All right, now let's move to Achike Chude here in Lagos. The president has sworn in the new caretaker committee. How do you think the party, that's the APC, will fare under the leadership of Mai Mala Buni?
Well, I think they are going to try to repair, the cracks. Obviously, the cracks are still there. A lot of people are not exactly happy. But you know that for a very long time, at least for the past 5 years that the APC has been in power, they've been dogged by all kinds of crises, and several times they have set up committees to try to resolve the differences within the APC. And as soon as these differences are resolved, other ones arise, just as, like the one we have presently. You know, so it has always been a party that has been dogged by crisis. And like we said, this is not the end of the crisis, but they are going to be in management mode to try to, soothe frayed nerves, and to try to continue to make compromises that can help to move the party forward. So I think that essentially this is what they are going to be doing. But obviously, there is no way that what is happening today will not affect the fortunes of the APC if they don't manage to stem the tide, really, in terms of the crisis that they have.
Very good. Mr. Afegwa, I'd like to come to you in Abuja. Talking about PDP itself, did the party exhibit any form of internal democracy over Mr. Obaseki's exit from APC and his eventual candidacy within PDP? The other contenders felt aggrieved initially. What do you make of this development?
Well, I think Nigerian democracy is a piece of shit. We still have a long way to go, a very big long way to go. A long way in the sense that we haven't gotten our acts together as exactly what we desire to see happen in a democratic setting. When people talk about internal democracies, I think in theory it is observable, but in practice it doesn't exist. And how do I mean? Like the case of the Obaseki, somebody you scored F9 in all your subjects yesterday suddenly came to your party. You are now scoring him A grades. That to me is a display of double standard. I think the PDP didn't do the right. They didn't do the right thing. You don't expect someone to just come into your party 24 hours. 24 hours, you surrender all your machinery to him as though you don't have persons, you don't have members, you don't have aspirants, and all of a sudden he becomes the candidate of the party. So for someone like me, I've said it repeatedly that I will not be part of that process. I won't be part of those who will be clapping hands and campaigning for Obaseki because he's a candidate of the PDP. No. I am of the opinion that they were better qualified materials in PDP who should have been able to fly the flight. It was not compulsory for Obaseki to emerge as candidate. He could just have as well be a member and support whoever the processes chew up. But of course, so many things pass through under the bridge, which will be discussion for other days. But it's quite unfortunate that this is happening, and this is the type of Nigerian democracy that we have at hand.
So let me ask you, Kasim, why do you think the PDP, because you're a member of the PDP, why do you think the PDP decided to take up Obaseki?
Well, you see, you hear the usual sing-song to prosecute elections. That shouldn't be the deciding factor. You don't have to deploy state resources that are meant for growth and development of the state into running personal ambition of persons. We had aspirants who were doing very well, who have gone around all the 18 local governments of the states, who have gone around all the wards of the states. We have thrown up a process that delegates were elected from the different wards in the state. And we're looking forward to an assemblage of those delegates that will vote for the aspirants that have actually campaigned with them. Now you brought in somebody from nowhere. He was not part of this whole process. He doesn't know the delegates. Delegates don't know him. And all of a sudden, because you feel that he's a state governor, he has the resources of the state to spend an election, that you decide to give him the ticket. That to me is it's an aberration.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, Chike, for you. Now, in Edo, the people, that is the electorate, will eventually bear the brunt of all these political permutations and games, as it were. Were they concerned, or were they carried along from the onset talking about the decampings and the conflicts. Is this fair on those who want just good governance, not just the hierarchy problems in APC or PDP, as it were? But I would like you to answer this right after this break. Stay with us.
Glad to have you back. You're watching Newsday. And before we went on break, we were speaking about the APC crisis. And we have as guests Achike Chude in our Lagos studio and Kasim Afebua in our Abuja studio. Achike Chude is supposed to be answering a question by Ni. All right,
Achike, just before we left for that break, I was talking about the people of Edo themselves, the electorate who these candidates will be seeking their mandate. Were they carried along in the first place? With all these political permutations, is it fair on them? They have very little choice here.
The dynamics of the politics of this country is such that the people are really inconsequential. The people are used as a photo op to show everybody, both local and international, that an election or elections are taking place in the country. If you look at the whole process of elections in Nigeria, we talked about, you were asking about internal party, democracies. It starts with, what goes on within the political parties, with, how people who eventually contest elections are thrown up through, the process that is supposed to emanate from the people. But if you realize, what is going on, the phenomenon of godfathers in the country, you realize that in virtually, every level of election in the country, that people get thrown up, not as a result of the involvement or engagement of the ordinary citizens, but as a result of the overwhelming and overriding influence of certain godfathers who in most cases are the financiers of these political parties. So the people do not get to make a choice about those who emerge to run elections at maybe a local or national level. And that essentially is what we are seeing about what's going on in Edo State. Because it is very clear that the issues at stake, the issues that led to the crisis in Edo State, and they also affected the party at the national level, the APC, are not issues that are developmental. They are not issues that have to do with the welfare of the people. It's about, a disagreement between a godfather and a godson. And that is what has evolved, and we now have so many, other parts of this particular crisis. So when you ask that question, it is very clear that the people of Edo State do not have any hand, do not have any say, do not have any influence on what is happening in Edo State. But like I said, they are going to be used as photo ops. Election is going to take place. And when the elections take place, the people are going to come out and do their duties. And that is to wait in line. A lot of them are going to be incentivized. A lot of them are going to be settled. And then they will do their duty by these political parties who have also gratified them. And then they play their part. And that is to vote. Not really according to their conscience, but perhaps according to those who have the financial wherewithal to maybe pay them much more than the other side. And that is the tragedy of the Nigerian situation. So the people, if you look at the basic understanding of democracy as government or the people for the people and by the people, you realize that that implies that the people are supposed to have a very large say, on how they are governed and the process of the emergence of political leadership. But in Nigeria, I must say it is not exactly so, because we are beginning to see a situation where we can rightly say that we have a government of the few, for the few, and by the few. Otherwise, we will not be in the situation that we are in. So the people of Edo State do not have very, very little say over what is going on. But like I said, come election, they will do their duties, and then a governor will emerge.
Kasim, let's take you up now. It was a visionary and momentous resolution of the APC party disputes by President Buhari, but other members of the party are dissatisfied with that resolution, and they say that it is contrary to the party constitution. What's your take on that?
Well, like I said earlier on, that is the internal dynamics of the APC. But essentially what was done on Thursday, if you look at all the signs and symbols, so to speak, you discover that it was like making Nigeria a one-party state, because the ESCO chambers where the so-called meeting held supposed to be the inner sanctuary of government of the entire country, not necessarily that of the APC.
Yeah.
But the APC decided, even the Attorney General of the Federation, a big one for that matter, for him to be the one swearing in another governor as a caretaker committee chairman, was inside the inner sanctuary of where the Federal Executive Council meeting is usually held. Wow. So for me, I think it is either that the president has been deceived into thinking that APC represents the entire country, or he feels that he's too tired to go outside to the banquet hall or elsewhere to conduct a meeting that has to do with his party. The president of the country is not president of the APC. And so when you want to take certain decisions, you have to know the one that stops within the boundaries of your party and the one that has to do with the country. Attorney General of the Federation is not Attorney General of the APC as a political party. The man has no business whatsoever to be swearing in somebody right inside the ESCO chambers of the presidential villa. That's the carriage of excess kindness. We don't need all of that kind of kindness. What the APC should have done was to lead by example, but they are not leading by example. The APC, rather than leading by example, they are creating constitutional infractions, both of its own constitution and even the constitution of the country. Because whether you like it or not, the APC as a party has its own constitution, and the president should be bound by that constitution of the party. And the constitution of the party means that you cannot call a NEC meeting without you forming a quorum in the first place. But you discover, if you look at the number of persons who attended that virtual NEC meeting, and they won't be up to 80. And to form a quorum of the you have to third, because the entire membership of NEC of parties, whether PDP is usually 124 in most cases. So to third of that, we didn't see that, but because it's the president and because there are no internal mechanisms, the presidents are usually almost approximating the entire constitution and framework of every political party, the same way governors want to breathe themselves down the throat of those electorates in the states. The same way the president has just done. The president has just breathed down the throat of every party executive in the APC and taking a decision. A governor is elected to preside over his state, Yobe State. He's now being given another responsibility to be the caretaker committee chairman of APC in Abuja here. I don't know how he's going to combine the two responsibilities.
Indeed. Achike Lagos, I would like us to take a look at the swift nature of these changes in the APC's hierarchy. Is this not a panacea to deepening cracks rather than mending fences here?
They've been immersed in crisis from the very beginning. If you remember the attempt to form the leadership of the National Assembly, that is, it was in 2015, after they came to power, that was full of crisis, and the crisis itself has continued. And so what they are just trying to do is just to, but I think, they tried to be a little bit, if you look at the kind of people and the personalities of those that were appointed to head the APC, at least across the sub-regions of the country, you realize like Ken Nnamani from the southeast and other parts of the country, you know that they try to go for people with weight, people with some modicum of respect and credibility. And I think that they are hoping that that will help to maybe stem the crisis that they are having in some of these other places. So I think it's about, crisis management. But it's also about the overbearing influence of the president, to whom people could not exactly say no to. And that's why I was saying that even members of the National Working Committee of the APC who had rebelled and said that they were not going to be part of the meeting, as at the last 24 hours, most of them had recanted and they're falling in line. And so it would appear right now that there is some kind of peace. Maybe it is easy, knowing the history and the trajectory of the APC since 2015. It might be easy to describe this peace as the peace of the graveyard, till one other crisis emanates from somewhere. But I think that what will feel the thoughts of members of the APC is to try not to incur the wrath of the president, who has a lot of influence within the polity. And so maybe to some extent, the peace will hold till maybe another round of crisis breaks out. We're going to see what is going to eventually happen in Edo State. It is the eventual result of Edo State that will also determine whether there will be other happenings within the polity. And of course, you know that obviously the national chairman of the APC that are suspended will remain suspended. I don't think he's going to come back anytime soon. Of course, he will want to work his way back into the APC, but I don't see how possible that would be, because this is not, he almost went the other time, except that some people rallied around to save him. And the present crisis that the APC is having is a crisis that is starting from its own home place. And so that in itself will not be good for him. You have other issues. Of course, people will tell you that the whole of this crisis and the ouster of the chairman of the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, is as a result of the intrigue surrounding 2023. Obviously, with Adams Oshomole out of the way, there are some people that feel marginalized or feel disenfranchised, that they are the center or the center of the attack against Adams Oshomole, because Adams Oshomole will seem to have been favorably disposed towards them. So those ones are still not going to be happy. But whether they have the capacity to fight back, especially with all the other forces coalescing around the president, is something that is very much going to be, is under disputation. But they will be very, very careful in order to cause further crisis within the APC for fear of provoking a presidential angst.
All right, we've been talking about the APC crisis, and I take away two things from my guest this afternoon. Daggers are still drawn, and the electorate are really inconsequential, according to my guests. My guests have been Machike Chude, political analyst, and Kassim Afegbua, former commissioner in Edo State. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on Newsday.